As extinctionists, we believe that everyone has a moral obligation to end suffering. Just because you aren't going out and actively causing suffering and hurting people doesn't mean that you're moral. If you're willfully allowing extreme suffering or doing nothing to end it when you can, then that is just as bad as actually going and doing it yourself, because the victim still suffers. So in terms of what's bad, the suffering the victim goes through is what's actually bad. So it's just as bad. So yeah, you can't live in this world freely and selfishly and say that you're moral. When 99% or more of life born into this world dies painfully as babies, if you include wildlife, which you should. So yeah, I mean, there's so much extreme suffering in the world that can only be prevented with extinction. So that's why extinctionists, understanding how much horrible suffering there is and will be in the future, cannot stand by and selfishly just live our lives, without actively causing harm. Just because you aren't going out causing harm doesn't mean you shouldn't feel guilty. You're doing nothing to end all this suffering which is all around you. So yeah, become an extinctionist. Do the best thing for the victims and the sufferers. Help us cause the most vast and thorough ending of suffering possible. That should be the priority. That is the moral priority. And that's why you have a moral obligation to join us. Fight to end suffering. Don't sit by and allow it. Don't benefit from it. What can justify allowing extreme suffering, which will continue for billions of years? And the risk of it, there's always going to be extreme suffering and victims as long as life is around. So it's irresponsible. I mean, it's essentially, we live in hell. When over 99% of life gets tortured and killed as babies and children. They don't even reach adulthood, so they're not growing or learning from this suffering. It's just pointless, horrible, miserable suffering. Disease, starvation, predation. The list is just absolutely endless of ways to suffer, and there's almost no upper limit on how much suffering and extreme suffering can exist or be experienced. So it's irresponsible to allow this to go on. That's why we need to end all suffering. Join the movement today. Link to the Discord is in the description.